I hope ToucanTube would let me use the intro of this video. Luckily, I don't intend on making YouTube my full-on job, because that's stupid. Hello, the Yakubian here. I decided to use a script as the comment suggested I do. Today I'll be discussing the evil of pornography, the boomer's humiliation ritual, and the consequences of these tools of deployment by the toucans. That is age stagnation or age stunt. Stunting of the growth. Gene Siender once said, "Look, porn is about being anti-erotic, scandalize, be disgusting. There are guys who can never have sex with the real women and they commit sexual crimes. What we do is not entertainment, it's politics. We are a Lutheran country, so what is allowed is boring. To contravene, to make people become dependent on our merchandise, hitting them, showing them a minor, who have sex with adults, women who have sex with animals, or anything disgusting that you can imagine. Anything that is seen as inappropriate by religion, we can do it because it is our freedom of entrepreneurship." Do you know who he is? He is the man responsible for the explosion of child grape and corn in the 1970s. He legalized CP in Norway. Europa's rot was around longer than you think you know. With this knowledge, I have recognized porn's aim was not profit or pleasure. It was warfare. You look at porn, and if you look at porn for free, every goon sit in a sesh costed you a piece of your soul. OnlyFans, however, cost you that plus a little something more tangible. That is your money. They use a portion of this money you give to whores, not just to buy their yachts or their expensive cars, but to blow up Middle Eastern children with missiles in the desert and do unspeakable things to their bodies. You can thank the great late state of interest rate, aka not real, for this contribution of pornography. Whilst I was a gooner, I almost fell for the trap of OnlyFoids. However, I will not disclose the name of this whore. But I thought, since I saw her leaks or never paid for any of her product, that was okay. However, that was still given in to these evil desires of lust. The more you give, whether it be cash or cum, you are slowly worshipping a BPD foid in the same vein as Anissa Joma. The simplest solution, of course, is nofap, plus not even think about sex. However, even I must agree that this is easier said than done. I have started nofap in fall of 2025. This is the last day of 2025. And it's still not easy. It's just not. I'm still finding myself wrestling with sexual thoughts, even in my sleep or even when I'm out and about. I get flashed by images of my goon material, possibly the work of the communist gangster computer god and his super secret hangman sneak parroting puppets. The generation who pioneered the porn humiliation ritual project, the boomers, knew the ramifications of the demon called porn. They wanted to destroy the family while plugging into instant gratification so much. For the greatest generation, am I right? Or am I right? Truly a Saturn eating his son moment. The humiliation ritual was to ultimately go down the busted path that leads to the innards of the boomers, then bear its sins and its imperfections and its impurities and then ultimately to be devoured and regurgitated. We are Gen Z, Saturn's son. In realizing this, I've grown to not only hate porn, but to hate feeling aroused. I don't want to think of how many pure Westerners felt this growing resentment towards lust in general. That's how they can wear us down. But I guess a lot of the guys on my side wouldn't want me to reproduce anyways, as I am a black chud. Which is honestly understandable, because although I personally love my parents and my family, I cannot deny that they are pretty fucking awful. However, not to say that I'm not much better. Case in point, you should never goon again. And now to the very consequences of gooning. You see, gooning actually decreases, your stamina. It also destroys, your muscle mass. It takes the fire out. Essentially leaves you, a sad, sopping mess in your bed. Why? Because the amygdala is basically getting bigger. But of course, that's, known. We know this is what it does, but essentially one of the things that people don't often neglects to talk about is how it sort of keeps you scared, complacent, feeling small, like you didn't really, like, if you've gooned all throughout high school and like you just kept gooning as a young adult, you won't feel any different, and you won't really have that sense of accomplishment. You're going, and every other boomer who looks at you, they're gonna think, he's weak. I can push him around. I can order him around. I can tell him what to do. This is essentially how they get into your head. They tell you, hey, look around. I've got the money. I've got the BPD whores. I've got the news on my side. I've got everyone in my pocket because I'm the greatest generation. Ha ha ha. And you don't even have like a bitch. You don't have the means to reproduce. I have them, but I also lost them because I'm old and I can't remember where I put them. And by them I mean my balls, because I like bending over to isn't real. Okay? Again, that's their progress. That's the progress of their plague. The evilness in their motives, or not motives. It's basically how they get into your brain. Again, the whole ideal of just not jerking off and not thinking about porn is hard. Again, I just get intense memories of like gooning and what I've gooned to. Like all the sites, man. I've never been on them since, like, I've never been on them since I first, got there. Since I first just left it off. But I'm not going to talk about, more of my gooning. Please don't. But I will, however, be signing off. This is the Yakub, and never goon again. Never goon. Shout out to Gerbert Johnson.